being prepared to preempt such attacks and taking other measures, including compensation and so forth.
President Buhari expresses concern over xenophobic attacks in South Africa, dispatches special envoy.
Nothing is done. We will come back here to occupy British Embassy.
Coalition of civil society organizations heighten protests on $9.6 billion judgment threatens occupation of embassies.
The starting point and the foundation for any progress in human capital development is basic education.
Free and compulsory education initiative launched in Kano. Join us for the network news at 9. I am Kenen Ima Abodike. Reading with me tonight are Hingino John Adams in Lagos, Musa Abubakar in Sokoto, and Obeki Otobo Apresai in Benin. Now to the news. We'll start with diplomatic matters as President Muhammadu Buhari has expressed concern on the reported attacks on Nigerians and their property in South Africa since August 29, 2019. In a statement by the Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, the President has instructed the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Geoffrey Onyama, to get a brief on the situation. He expressed Nigeria's displeasure over the treatment of her citizens and assurance of the safety of their lives and property. President Buhari has also dispatched a special envoy to convey to President Cyril Ramaphosa his concerns and also interact with his South African counterpart on the situation. The special envoy is expected to arrive in Pretoria latest Thursday, 5th of September 2019. In a swift reaction, the federal government says it is pushing to ensure persons who looted shops belonging to Nigerians in South Africa are held accountable for their crimes and the shop owners compensated. This was at a meeting between Nigeria's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Geoffrey Onyama, and the South Africa High Commissioner to Nigeria, Bobby Moreau. Usman Aliyu has details.
The recent looting of shops and burning of property belonging to Nigerians in South Africa sent shockwaves among Nigerians. Many people wonder why such misunderstanding keeps recurring in the nations regarded as economic powers in Africa. At a meeting, leaders representing the two nations agree it is no longer a matter of silence. Nigeria's Foreign Affairs Minister Geoffrey Onyama and the South Africa Head of Mission in Nigeria, Bobby Moreau, say they are worried by the criminal behavior exhibited by some South Africans against some Nigerians. Particularly, Nigeria's Minister Geoffrey Onyama said there must be accountability and responsibility whenever such crimes are committed.
Essentially, being prepared to preempt such attacks and taking other measures, including compensation and so forth.
Apart from the measures the two countries put in place, they assured Nigerians that justice must be done.
It is therefore quite very unfortunate. For us, these are acts that continue to demonstrate that there are criminals within society that seek to destabilize the country.
It is expected that the measures will spur authorities in South Africa to address what people see as horrendous violence against Nigerians in that country once and for all. In Abuja, Usman Aliyu, NT News.
Meanwhile, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has described as unacceptable the constant attacks on Nigerians by South Africans. The Vice President was reacting to the present attacks that has left a number of Nigerians and other nationals dead and their properties destroyed. He spoke to State House correspondent Jide Onifade in Kano.
It is very sad and very unfortunate that the lives and livelihoods of Nigerians living in South Africa is once again being destroyed with such wantonness and with such carelessness and recklessness. It's very, very sad indeed. And again, I think it's unfortunate. Nigeria has invested a great deal, not only in the destruction of apartheid, in the pulling down of apartheid, but again, this is all contrary even to the very ideas that all of the great leaders of South Africa fought for, including the current president. You know, this level of bigotry, this sort of bigotry is just terrible and is so completely unacceptable. I believe that Mr. President has already spoken about this. Obviously, we're very concerned about this, and we certainly intend to take this up with the authorities in South Africa and to ensure that this sort of thing does not repeat itself. It is absolutely unconscionable, it's terrible.
And more Nigerians have condemned attacks on Nigerians in South Africa. Joseph Johnson compiled the reactions.
President of the Senate Ahmad Lawan says he notes with serious concern the worsening xenophobic attacks on foreign nationals in South Africa, in which Nigerians have been major victims. A statement by Senator Lawan observed that Nigeria has had enough of its citizens being targets of these attacks and will no longer tolerate crimes in any form against its citizens who are doing legitimate businesses in that country. Meanwhile, Speaker House of Representatives Femi Gbajabiamila, in his verified official Twitter handle, said he will be cutting short his trip to Tanzania for the 50th Commonwealth Parliamentary Conference and also reconvene the Green Chambers for one day to address the killings of Nigerians in South Africa. On its part, the All Progressives Congress has condemned the recent attacks on Nigerians, their properties and businesses. In a statement by the party's National Publicity Secretary, Lanre Issa Onilu, the APC expressed sadness over the unwarranted attacks. The party says attack on citizens of other countries is unsavory and calls on the South African ruling party, the African National Congress, to urgently step in, as the ANC government can no longer pretend about this obvious contradiction. In the same vein, the People's Democratic Party has condemned the killing of innocent Nigerians and other nationals in the mindless, violent, xenophobic attacks in South Africa. A statement by the party's National Publicity Secretary, Kola Ologbodinyo, says the PDP is particularly heartbroken over the unwarranted violent attacks by xenophobic South Africans. For the Chief Whip of the 9th Senate, Oji Uzo Kalu, the attacks meted out on Nigerians in South Africa is condemnable, calling on all Nigerians to stand firm and the South Africans to fish out the perpetrators. He described the gruesome killings, looting arsenal properties belonging to Nigerians, and attack of Nigerian embassy in South Africa as ill-conceived, disheartening and wicked.
In reactions to several assaults on Nigerians in South Africa, some individuals in Lagos today stormed some shops belonging to South Africans. The crowd reportedly stormed MTN premises in Apapa and ShopRite Mall, threatening to set ablaze the buildings. Similarly, another group allegedly attacked ShopRite Mall in Lekki area on Lagos Island. In all the cases, it took the intervention of security personnel who were mobilized to the scenes to prevent total breakdown of law and order, a development that halted business activities at the affected areas. In a swift reaction, the federal government has appealed to Nigerians not to attack South African companies operating in Nigeria, despite the ongoing xenophobic attacks against Nigerians in South Africa. A statement by Segun Adeyemi, Special Assistant to the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, describes as disturbing the report that some Nigerians, angered by the xenophobic attacks in South Africa, have started attacking South African companies in Nigeria. He said targeting South African companies in Nigeria is a classic case of cutting off one's nose to spite his face, because the investors in such companies, especially the MTN and ShopRite, are Nigerians. Lai Mohammed assured Nigerians that the federal government is already taking decisive measures to bring to an end the persistent xenophobic attacks against Nigerians in South Africa. Meanwhile, Meanwhile, Nigeria has promised to deepen existing collaboration and cooperation with Ukraine in critical economic sectors for enhanced benefit to both countries and their people. President Muhammadu Buhari gave the assurance while exchanging views with the outgoing Ukrainian ambassador to Nigeria, Dr. Valery Alexandruk. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports that the president also granted a farewell audience to Sri Lankan envoy, promising to take another look at the closure of the Nigerian embassy in the Asian country.
The Ukrainian ambassador to Nigeria, Dr. Valery Alexandruk, who spent over 4 years on tour of duty in Nigeria, was in the State House on a farewell visit. Ukraine currently collaborates with Nigeria in critical economic sectors, including education, military cooperation, and space exploration. The outgoing ambassador told President Buhari that there are almost 5,000 Nigerians presently studying in Ukraine, and the number increases every year. Education, he said, is a great investment for the future. Dr. Alexandruk said Ukraine also supplies Nigeria military hardware and ammunition to fight insurgency, while 2 agreements have been signed by the 2 countries on space exploration. President Buhari appreciated the highly beneficial relations between Nigeria and Ukraine, which he said will be taken to the next level.
This is a sign of power of Ukrainian king. I see. So I present this for you as a king of Nigeria.
Thank you very much. Meanwhile, the president has promised to re-examine the closure of the Nigerian embassy in Colombo in view of the important relationship Nigeria shares with Sri Lanka. Speaking at the farewell audience granted the outgoing High Commissioner of Sri Lanka to Nigeria, Thammirija Ravinthiran, the president explained that financial challenges which the country faced in 2017 informed the closure of some Nigerian embassies and consulates during a rationalization exercise. He said the federal government will take another look at that decision as it affects Sri Lanka following the request by the outgoing envoy. The High Commissioner, who spent over 4 out of his 30-year career in diplomatic service in Nigeria, described his stay in the country as remarkable in several ways. Mr. Ravinthiran said Sri Lanka has a lot to offer Nigeria in the areas of counterterrorism, Medicare, and higher education. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
Now, the coalition of civil society organizations protesting the $9.6 billion judgment against Nigeria has threatened to occupy British and Irish embassies if officials fail to respond to their demands. Onengia Fiveface reports.
It's the second day running into the protest organized by the Coalition of Civil Society Organizations of Nigeria. They are clamoring for intervention to ensure that the judgment given against Nigeria of $9.6 billion awarded to P&ID is set aside. But 2 days into the protest, they've not received any meaningful commitment from the British High Commission, where they are currently holding their protest.
We are still waiting for them to talk to us. But we've given them 21 days ultimatum to revert that judgment. We've also appealed to Boris Johnson to step into that judgment so that they can reduce the slam, bring it down to the barest.
Yes, after 21 days ultimatum and nothing is done, we'll come back here to occupy British Embassy. This time, no going home. We'll sleep here, we'll wine here, we'll dine here until a drastic action is taken.
Some of the protesters are tired. They've been on the road for hours. Although they are tired, they are still resolved to continue on the protest until they get positive commitment from the Irish Embassy and the British High Commission here in Abuja. Onengia Fiveface, NTA News.
Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed has restated the federal government's determination to pursue for reversal of the United Kingdom court ruling against Nigeria and in favor of Process and Industrial Development Limited, P&ID. The minister stated this when he visited the corporate headquarters of Leadership Newspapers in Abuja. Anthony Forson reports.
The Information and Culture Minister is now visitor to the corporate headquarters of the leadership newspapers, and each time he comes visiting, it is always a moment to show encomium on the organization. At today's visit, Lai Mohammed applauded the newspaper for, in his words, the patriotic position the paper has taken. It is in line with this that the Information and Culture Minister placed on the doorsteps of the nation's media not to be swayed by unpatriotic citizens who have formed a league with foreign collaborators to defraud the country.
A company admits that it has invested $40 million into Nigeria and you give an award of $9.6 billion. This is unprecedented, that the award is exorbitant, is excessive, manifestly unreasonable. It goes beyond protecting the commercial interests of the company. It's punitive in nature. I mean, and this is why we appeal to the sense of patriotism of our media in particular, to understand what the issues are. But it's not about one administration or the other. It's about Nigeria. If people can just come in, walk into Nigeria with a portfolio, and work with 20% of our entire foreign reserve, these are the issues at stake.
Running the leadership newspaper's editorial teams through the issues at stake between the federal government of Nigeria and P&ID Limited, an Irish firm, the minister maintained that the federal government is doing all within its powers to stave off any seizure of its assets.
Even the capacity of the contracting party, you can't give what you don't have. The Federal Ministry of Petroleum Resources is not the competent contracting party. It has no gas. The gas belongs to an NPC and the IOCs. And that's why we are glad that the President has asked the EFCC, the NIA, and the Secretary of Police to really look into this matter and find out what really transpired. Who are those collaborators from within and without government that led us to this, sorry pass? We are doing everything possible, and we are very optimistic that it would stave off any embarrassment.
The forum gave the leadership newspaper team the opportunity to equally ask questions on other national issues, which the minister provided answers to. In Abuja, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
Following the public appeal by President Muhammadu Buhari to governors of Benue and Taraba State, a meeting has been scheduled for religious, traditional and political leaders of Tiv and Jukun ethnic groups, as well as other stakeholders, towards de-escalation of the crisis between the affected communities tomorrow, Wednesday, at the Sheikh Musa Yaradua Center, Abuja. In a statement by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, OSGF, is attending the meeting as a stakeholder and guarantor to assure full federal government backing for the implementation of resolutions arising from the meeting. A few days ago, President Buhari conveyed the importance of reducing tensions between the Tiv and Jukun neighbors and maintaining peace in the two states, which had witnessed a series of violent clashes. A first Federal Executive Council meeting shifted. Details when we return. To stay with us.
Bayes University is a fully licensed university operating since 2011 and has grown to have 32 accredited programs in 6 faculties. This includes computer and applied sciences, management and social sciences, engineering, environmental sciences, law, and basic medical sciences. The university also offers postgraduate programs and foundation courses in a conducive learning environment with modern teaching facilities and high-quality national and international staff. Bayes University graduates have either progressed into respectable career positions or have obtained postgraduate degrees from different parts of the world with distinctions. Call or visit www.bayesuniversity.edu.ng. Bayes University, Abuja. Learn to live.
Tell you what, when will the new meters come?
Because we are tired of estimated billing.
Good news, my people. The Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission has come up with the new meter asset provider regulations called the MAP. Nigerian MAP.
It is to ensure provision of meters, eliminate estimated billing, and ensure electricity customers only pay for energy they consume.
Yes.
Just go to your local electricity distribution center and request for your new meters.
Because the new meter is reliable and cheaper than tariffs.
This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission. Next.
There's a smarter way to live with Airtel Binge Plan, the ideal data plan for those heavy data moments. Get a 2 GB daily binge plan for 500 Naira. Dial *141# to activate. Live smarter with data.
Airtel, the smartphone network. Imagine a luxury big breakfast on top of the world in Dubai.
To Dubai.
Collins!
Hope you bought enough big milk. Dubai, here we come.
To be one of the 20 lucky people going to enjoy a peak breakfast in Dubai, buy Peak Milk and collect your scratch card to redeem your instant win. Fill your details and return. Everyone's a winner. So keep on buying your Peak Milk and keep winning. Valid while stocks last. Reach for your peak.
Hey, you! And are you how they talk to? I sabi you now. It's in day your mind, Abi. The person with them go help us. Baba Toros and Shangalo. Oga Lekuva, Mr. Sabi. And you know if we carry last for this one.
A spear into the top corner.
We Sabi say Peking will crawl before in waka. So don't look, no help anybody. No dolly, no. So go for it. Go for football. Go for all Serie A and La Liga matches live. Go for GoTV Max.
Welcome back. The Federal Executive Council FEC meeting will not take place on Wednesday, September 4, 2019. In a statement by Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, the postponement is to enable ministers who were recently sworn in to have their inputs in the memos sent by their predecessors in office as they are still familiarizing with their workplaces. The essence is also to enable the ministers contribute to discussions at the meeting. They will also utilize the period of the break to work towards the early preparation and submission of the 2020 budget estimates. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo says Nigeria could achieve the desired economic growth when state governments give quality education to every child in their domains. He said that these are the flag-off of Kano State's government's free and compulsory education program initiated by Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje. Abdullahi Mustafa has details.
This will be the last time these children be carrying utensils to beg. The presentation of sets of school uniform and other learning materials marks the beginning of a new life for them. as they enjoy the free and compulsory basic and secondary education program of Kano State Government. This initiative, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo stated, is in line with the Buhari administration's economic recovery and growth plan, which encompasses free and quality education for all Nigerians.
While we continually seek improvements in higher education and to enhance the competencies of our labor force, the starting point and the foundation for any progress in human capital development is basic education. It is in the principles of basic education that we empower children with the fundamental cognitive tools to navigate, negotiate the world.
The state is doing in education will have the support of the Federal Ministry of Education.
The government has commenced the direct funding of such schools numbering 1,180 with a total student population of 834,366 with a total cost of about 200 million naira per month.
Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduji assured that his administration will work with all stakeholders towards successful implementation of the program, which informs the two-day summit to generate inputs. Heads of foreign missions in Nigeria, representatives of development and donor agencies commend the initiative and pledge total support. In Kano, Abdullahi Mustafa, NTA News.
The federal government is to better equip the Nigerian police in addition to adequate welfare package as part of measures to effectively combat security challenges in the country. The Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Adamu, stated this during a visit to the officers and men of the Osun Command and later visited the Osun State Governor in Osogbo, Osun State. Femi Afariogun reports.
The Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Adamu, said community policing is the most potent strategy for internal security governance. He stressed the need to engage citizens to partner the police in addressing the threat of insecurity in the country.
You must be properly kitted before you go out to confront these bad guys that are now becoming sophisticated. So the federal government has acquired a lot of these gadgets for us, and very soon they will be distributed.
The police boss explained that federal government is making all efforts to ensure that all necessary equipment and logistics needed and in place, including the welfare of the officers and men for effective discharge of their duties. In Ibadan, Adebola Ogunlana, NTA News.
The Nigerian Army has redefined the conduct of Operation Lafia Dole with established 20 super camps in the northeast to enhance response to threats. This was announced at the 2019 second and third quarter Chief of Army Staff Conference in Abuja. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa has details.
These are top principal army officers and commanders of different internal security operations. This periodic platform provides an avenue for general review of Army's activities within the period under review, with emphasis on logistics, troops welfare, and ongoing operations.
The incidents such as the recent one at Ibi in Taraba State, which generated intense media comments, are not healthy for the smooth cooperation and operation of our security forces. Investigations of the incident have been concluded, and decisive actions will be taken to ensure it never happens again.
The concept of super camp, the Army notes, entails the concentration of formidable fighting force with the capacity for swift and aggressive response to threat. The Army has also established a land forces simulation center to facilitate training and has inducted several new platforms into the theater in the Northeast. The platforms include the 5 locally produced mine-resistant ambush-protected combat vehicles, MRAP. In Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
Troops from Sector 1, Operation Delta Safe, have destroyed a major illegal refining camp at Otumara, Warri South West local government area of Delta State, Commander of the sector, Colonel Habib Baba Manu, who led newsmen to the camp measuring about 6 kilometers around the Escravers River, said troops will continue to occupy the place to stop the oil thieves from resuming their illicit trade. The operation reportedly lasted 4 days as Swamp Boogie was deployed to destroy equipment used for the illegal bunkering activities. Tanks that could take about 5 million liters of the illegally refined crude were among items destroyed during the operation. No arrest was, however, made during the operation. The party primaries of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, ahead of the November 16th governorship elections are underway in Kogi and Bayelsa states. In Kogi State, 13 aspirants are accredited, vying to become the party candidate. The Confluence Stadium, Lokoja venue of the primaries, is calm as party executives from within and outside the state are on ground to ensure a transparent exercise. And in Bayelsa State, a Saboma High Court sitting in Yenagoa struck out a case brought by some aggrieved members of the PDP challenging the eligibility of newly elected local government chairman, vice chairman and councillors as delegates. The presiding judge, Justice Ebierin Omukoro, while delivering the judgment, said the court lacks the jurisdiction to offer judgment on the case. He advised parties involved to address the issues based on the constitution and guidelines of the party at the national level. With this development, 20 out of the 21 aspirants have been accredited for the primaries. One of the aspirants, Talford Ongolo, reportedly withdrew from the race before the commencement of the accreditation. We will bring you further developments as the exercise progresses. Ten communities in 3 local government areas in Ekiti State have been hit by floods, which has rendered them homeless. Director, Search and Rescue of NEMA, Air Commodore Akube Iyamu, led NEMA delegation to the affected areas to ascertain the level of devastation for onward provision of succor to the affected victims. Eliasu Ali Yakubu reports that affected communities are in Ado Ekiti, Ikere and Isorun local government areas.
These are the roads linking Ikere and Ogbese communities and Adulaku and its neighboring community, now completely cut off as a result of the flood, which has also hampered economic activities in the communities.
We don't even know where that water comes from. All my people have already destabilized now. They didn't know, they didn't have anywhere to stay, no fooding, all their certificates have been already lost.
The federal government should come to our urgent assistance.
The state government said palliatives were immediately provided to cushion the effects.
Well, the directive of the governor is that first of all, we have to stabilize the people that have been traumatized. Emergency Management Agency has swung into actions to provide consumables, foods, clothing, and mattresses.
Their means of economy has been taken away from them by the natural disaster. The only thing is for them to be rehabilitated.
Leader of the NEMA delegation, Air Commodore Akube Iyamu, expressed shock over the level of devastation and directed the immediate deployment of relief items to alleviate the sufferings of the people.
What you see now is a very terrible situation. When it gets to the extreme and they need to be evacuated, the DROUs will be activated to evacuate them.
Ekiti State is one of the 30 states predicted that will experience high risks of flooding by the Nigerian Hydrological Services Agency. From Ado Ekiti in Ekiti State, Ilyasu Ali Yakubu, NTA News.
Hengino is standing by in Lagos to bring us stories from that region.
Kene and welcome to Lagos. Motorists and commuters plying the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway have been lamenting loss of man-hours in the gridlock caused by the diversion at the Berger-Kara Bridge section of the highway. Michael Olale reports that endless queue of vehicles is a reflection of the reality check that the days ahead could be hectic for travelers.
This is the Kara Bridge section of the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, and it is just 600 meters from here to Bega, where the diversion ends. This stretch of road is strategic simply because it has been described as the neck of the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. Based on the estimation of the Ogun State Command of the Federal Road Safety Corps, more than 10,000 vehicles ply this route daily, in which 60% of them are trucks. Now, adding this figure to that of cars and vehicles of residents around this axis, the traffic situation can better be imagined than experienced.
This is the scenario today as motorists painstakingly navigate into Lagos.
In fact, this road is too much. It's come from Wawa now. I don't reach like 2.5 hours now.
I can be walking maybe day and night to fasten the road. Man, the traffic is much.
The stretch of the traffic is endless, but it is a pain with eventual gains.
It's something we just have to bear. That's my attitude, sincerely. We just have to bear it for now. There's little we can do about it. It is to get it better. And before something gets better, sometimes it can get like this.
Although traffic management agencies are at hand to ease movement, but the volume of vehicles is overwhelming.
Whether crawling or wriggling, what is important to the motoring public is that this road will be completed in the next 3 months, and their once pathetic experiences will be a thing of the past. In Lagos, Michael Olale, NT News.
The industrialization of Africa is necessary to drive key inclusive economic growth that will enhance competitiveness and boost investment. Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment Adeniyi Adebayo stated this at a stakeholders meeting in Lagos with the theme improving the value chain in the manufacturing sector for competitiveness and job creation. Abolade Salami reports.
The need to examine the manufacturing value chain for an enhanced competitiveness with regards to the African Continental Free Trade Area was the crux of discourse at this gathering. Considering the opportunities Nigeria stands to benefit from the agreement, federal government consultations with stakeholders was principally on the level of ascertaining Nigeria's readiness for trade, availability of items to trade, and the country's prevailing strategic policy measures.
To back this results-based industrialization policy, this administration introduced various industrial incentives in priority subsectors, enhanced the ease of doing business, introduced the eligible customer regulation, developed the capacities of entrepreneurs through the SME clinic, and initiated relevant executive orders to promote transparency in governance, enhance local content, and improve patronage of products manufactured locally.
Well, I believe the orientation has been made to every one of us, and it's the duty of all of us to work towards that orientation.
For Africa to expand its frontiers in trade, the African Continental Free Trade Area is expected by 2022 to grow its share of intra-African trade to 22% from 16%, while total intra-African trade will increase to $250 billion from its initial $160 billion.
The main determinants of a successful manufacturing sector are ability to manufacture competitively and availability of and access to markets. The main enablers of growth are government policies and availability of finance.
The Manufacturing Association therefore commends you for these policies which helped our economy to exit recession and return to a growth trajectory, even though still fragile. We are aware, Mr. President, that many other initiatives have been introduced over this period to consolidate on the progress made and to sustain growth.
As part of measures for stakeholders to collectively develop implementable strategy that supports value addition of our new Nigeria and indeed Africa in the area of competitiveness and grow the manufacturing sector was identified as crucial. In Lagos, Abolade Salami, NTA News.
That's our contribution from Lagos. Network News continues after this commercial break. Stay with us.
Follow!
Oh, baby. He doesn't want overripe things. Ah, Dudu by nature. Black is beautiful. Oh, talk to the hand. The baby is black. Ask her. Uche, quickly send me the baby video.
Okay, ma.
Yeah, he's playing. Oh my goodness. He's loving it. Oh, thank you. Welcome. Bye.
Data is oxygen. Glow 4G, the new speed of life. Your #1 4G network nationwide. The very best from Glow. The grandmasters of data.
The very tough guy who knocks out every opponent. But now he's been knocked down by malaria.
Amatem soft gel.
Amatem soft gel.
Amatem soft gel makes treating malaria easy.
Daddy, when I had malaria in school, they gave me Amatem soft gel. It's soft and easy to swallow.
Amatem soft gel is a game changer.
The opponent is down only in round 1. Ayua, Amatem for soft gel are good to combat malaria for body.
Available for adults and children. Say no to malaria. Yes to life.
Everybody dance now.
We are the strongest. No challenge can stop us. Oh Lord, and we are the brightest. No darkness can blind us. We are the strongest.
Malta Guinness is packed with B vitamins to fuel your greatness.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Please, did you hear that?
Of course I did. That is village master tune.
Eh? So, Auntie Amebo was not gossiping then?
Village master is celebrating 50 years.
50? Already? This is not a joke. Oh.
It is a national celebration. NTA and Village Master family are commemorating 50 years.
Hey, please, tell me, when is our golden jubilee?
It is from the 8th to 11th of October, 2019.
I have to go and get ready. It's time to party.
Women. But we, men, will be there too.
Welcome back. National Bureau of Statistics releases latest GDP figures. Nigeria GDP grows by 1.94% year-on-year. Amina Nujem has details on business news and more. How are you tonight?
I am fine. Let's take some business news. The latest gross domestic product report released by the National Bureau of Statistics indicate that Nigeria's economy grew slower in the second quarter of 2019 than it did in the first quarter. Nigeria's GDP dropped to 1.94% in the second quarter from 2.1% it recorded in the first and gained 0.44% year-on-year. In the report, the NBS finds that performance in the second quarter not as strong as the previous one. It was likely aided by stability in oil output as well as a successful political transition. The report points to information and communication, mining and quarrying, agriculture, transportation and storage, as well as other services as the major contributors to the slow pace of non-oil sector, which grew by 1.64%, while the oil sector expanded by 5.15%. In real terms, the non-oil sector contributed 91.18% to the nation's GDP, higher than the 90.78% recorded in the first quarter of 2019. Crude production dipped 1.98 million barrels per day from 1.99 million in the previous quarter. In the meantime, the Africa Union Commission and the Economic Commission for Africa have been challenged by governments in the region to advance digital trade and economy development strategy by February 2020. This was at the launch of a roadmap to sustainable development by the Africa E-Commerce Action Agenda preparatory to the 28th World Economic Forum in South Africa holding in Cape Town. The forum says e-commerce has the potential to create more than 3 million jobs in Africa by the year 2025. The 8-step action plan to realize benefits of e-commerce for the continent includes refresh policies, expand connectivity, upgrade of logistics, enablement of e-payment, data management, growing of tech industry, coaching of small businesses, as well as joining forces with Africa's political leaders, the international trade community, to fully harness the power of digital marketplace. And the Nigerian stock market extends uptrend Tuesday as the OSHA index closed the trading session positive. The NSE OSHA index appreciated by 0.08% to close at 27,586.79 basis points. Its year-to-date stands at minus 12.23%. A total of 294 million shares exchanged hands in 3,337 deals. This was for 3.495 billion naira. USC Property Development Company PLC recorded the highest volume of trade, 61 million. This was followed by Access Bank, 55 million, and Guarantee Trust Bank. We now join Musa in Sokoto for more on Network News. Hello, Musa.
Thank you and welcome to Sokoto. The worst flood disaster experienced recently by communities of Silami local government has been attributed to failure in responding to early warning signals issued by relevant agencies. This came to the fore at the distribution of relief materials to the affected communities. Alhata Abdullahi has the report.
More than 20 communities were hit by flood in Silami local government, with over 9,000 households losing their homes and farms. Records indicate that the disaster is the worst in recent years after the 2010 historic flood in Sokoto State. Sokoto State government was quick to respond in aid of the victims. Items worth millions of naira that include bags of rice, millet, maize, green corn, mats, blankets, and textile materials were presented in aid of the victims at Katami town.
So I am appealing to the rest of the communities to heed to that early warning and ensure that we comply so as to avoid further and future occurrences of flood in those communities.
Meanwhile, the state government has taken delivery of 2 brand new firefighting trucks from the federal government.
We shall support you in the establishment of the office in whatever way you require our intervention.
Zonal Commander Sokoto Kebi and Zamfara State Federal Fire Service, Bello Ahmed Zaga said the firefighting trucks would be accompanied with an ambulance for emergency response in the zone. In Sokoto, Dalhatu Abdullahi, NTA News.
That's our contribution from Sokoto. Ogwehi is back to you.
Oh, thanks for joining us in Benin. The magistrate court sitting in Okeda, Akure, has ordered the remand of one Elizabeth Akinola, who allegedly tortured her 6-year-old daughter to death. She is to remain at Olokota prison till October 9 for further proceedings. Toyin Battery reports.
Mrs. Elizabeth Akinola, whose husband, Felix Babalola, is still at large, was arraigned before a magistrate court in Okeda over the death of her daughter, testimony which she allegedly tortured to death. Counsel to the accused person, Israel Balogun, pleaded with the court to grant the accused bail. The request prosecuting counsel objected to. The presiding judge, Victoria Bob Manuel, ordered the remand of Elizabeth Akinola at Olokota prison pending the continuation of the proceedings on Wednesday, October 9. The police had been on the trail of Mrs. Elizabeth Akinola and her husband over the death of their daughter before the mother was apprehended in Akure. Toyin Batire NTA News.
And that's our contribution from Benin. The news continues with Kenny in Abuja.
Thank you, Obeyi. A service compact known as Savicom has tasked the Nigeria Customs Service on the need to improve its service delivery to customers. This is the outcome of the evaluation carried out in the 3 operational zones of the Customs Service and the headquarters. Austin Anyebe reports.
Savicom, established in 2004, monitors and report progress and performance of MDAs through compliance evaluation using 5 basic index geared towards effective implementation of government policies. It is the report of this evaluation carried out in 3 operational zones of the Customs Service in Lagos, Kaduna and Port Harcourt, including the headquarters, that informed the visit of the National Coordinator of Savicom to the Controller General of the Nigerian Customs Service, Amit Ibrahim Ali. She told the Customs boss that from the evaluation based on the basic index, including service delivery, timeliness, professionalism and staff attitude, there is a need for improvement, particularly in the areas of delay in clearing goods from the port, additional scanners, sanitation in some zones and staff attitude.
What we're encouraging them to do is to now set standards, even with all the delays, so that before the customers even come to the service point, they know exactly what these issues are.
The Comptroller General of Customs, while commending Savicom, said they are mindful of the mandates of Savicom, but the service needs to maintain critical balance in its operation.
We've been told that there are areas of makeup that we are not doing very well, and we up the game of where we are doing well, and then where we're not doing very well, we will address them and make sure that we begin to pick up and do the best that we can do.
The Savicom compliance evaluation is to be extended to other government agencies. In Abuja, Austin Anyebe, NTA News.
About 60,000 students and staff members of the Bayero University, Kano, will now have access to uninterrupted power supply from the university's 7.1 megawatt solar hybrid power plant, courtesy of the federal government. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo inaugurated the plant, making it the second of the 37 federal universities and 7 teaching hospitals marked for such projects by the federal government across the country under its Energizing Education program. State House correspondent Jide Onifade reports.
Exactly a month ago, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo inaugurated similar project in Alex Ekweme Federal University in Ebonyi State, promising that all the projects under the Energizing Education program would be completed in 4 years. The program, the Vice President says, is geared towards delivering on several critical policies and objectives of the Buhari administration in the next level agenda, stressing that it would also help to improve power supply across the country.
Our policies and objectives under the Energizing Education program in this administration's next level roadmap remains the same. The ultimate goal is to increase access to modern technical education in a safe and illuminated environment, to empower the girl child, to create jobs in the power sector, and of course, to enhance the entire power value chain. This remarkable off-grid solar hybrid power plant that we're commissioning today is already on its way to bringing these goals and objectives to fruition.
The inauguration also includes the launch of 11.41 kilometers of solar-powered street lights and a renewable energy training center.
The leveraging of renewable energy technologies is in line with the federal government's mandate and all of our related activities. Nigeria's plans to reduce carbon emission by 20% unconditionally and 45% with international support by 2030 aims to limit the damaging effects of climate change.
The Energizing Education program is being implemented by the Rural Electrification Agency.
Energizing education is energizing youth. Energizing youth is energizing the economy of Nigeria. And energizing the economy of Nigeria is de-energizing banditry. It's de-energizing kidnapping. It's de-energizing cattle rustling. It's de-energizing armed robbery. And it's de-energizing tribal and religious conflicts in Nigeria.
The Rural Electrification Agency has described this as the largest solar hybrid plant in Africa, one that the Vice President describes as a milestone which not only the university community should be proud of, but all Nigerians. In Kano, Jide Unifade, NT News.
Nigeria's quest to become an industrial giant in Africa can easily be realized if government pays attention to the development of the iron and steel sector. This was the thrust of a lecture at the 37th inaugural lecture of the University of Abuja, which drew experts in the mining and steel industry. Austin Anyebe reports that the completion of the Ajaokuta Steel Company was re-echoed.
According to 2016 report of the World Steel Association, China is the world's largest steel producer, with South Africa ranked 22nd and Egypt 27th in Africa. South Korea, which has no mineral resources for iron and steel, ranks among the top 10 countries in steel production. This is the worry of experts who are of the view that Nigeria, blessed with mineral resources such as iron ore, coal, natural gas and limestones needed for the production of steel, is still lagging.
All the infrastructure that we rely or we use on daily basis are made from steel. Steel are made from iron ore. So except we develop our iron ore, we cannot get to production of steel. If you don't produce steel, we cannot talk of developing any technology in this nation.
This is the focus of the 37th inaugural lecture, where Professor Yihi Boniface Oloche says government should consider the potentials inherent in Itakpe and Abuja iron ore deposits in Kogi State, as well as speed up the completion of the Ajaokuta Steel Company. Speakers of the view that the Ajaokuta Integrated Steel Plant was envisaged to have a multiplier effect on all sectors of the Nigerian economy, such as agriculture, transport, and construction. The lecture had as theme iron ore, a potential source of steel and fertilizer for sustainable development. In Abuja, Austin Anyebe, NT News.
Sport is next after this break.
4 years of Next Level Agenda in focus on Tuesday Live this week. Governance and workings of economy under close examination. Tuesday Live every week at 10:30 p.m. Incisive, educating and informative. Join us.
Let's join our sports desk for some sports news.
National men's basketball team, the Tigers, have been admonished to go all out against South Korea in the final Group B match of the FIBA Men's World Cup in China. The Tigers missed out on a last 16 spot after consecutive losses to Russia and Argentina, as a victory in Wednesday's match against the Koreans will boost their chances of automatic qualification for 2020 Tokyo Olympics.
Focus on finishing the top African team in the classifications, and then we make it to the Olympics and then build from there.
Nigeria's under-23 men's football team coach, Imama Amapakabo, has expressed optimism in his squad's ability to avoid defeat when they play Sudan in AFCON final round qualifying tournament's first leg in Omdurman on Thursday. 18 players, including John Lazarus of Lobby Stars, captain of the team Azubuike Okechukwu, and the duo of Taiwo Awoniyi and Stephen Ode, departed Abuja Tuesday ahead of the return leg next week Tuesday at the Stephen Keshi Stadium in Asaba, Delta State. 22 squash players are presently intensifying preparations in Abuja in the national trials for the 2019 Men's World Team Championship in Washington, D.C., USA from December 14 to 22. 8 players are to be selected for the first phase of camping before a final team of 4 will be selected for the trip to the USA.
We had set things in motion to prepare these players so that they will give us very good results.
Nigeria first debuted at the Men's World Squash Team Championship in 1999. With Sports Update, Ayodeji, Makinde, NTA News.
And that's NTA Network News tonight. Thanks indeed for watching. My name is Kene Ima Abodike. Do have a good night.
Information for more media sources than ever before. Some of the news and information given are fake, unverified, doctored, and manufactured to create confusion, stir disaffection, and cause disunity. Before you believe or share any news, ask yourself, is this real? Is it from a credible source? Is it verified or verifiable? Fake news is dangerous. Whether you do it for fun or for political gains, real people can get hurt. Fake news, don't create it, don't spread it.
This is a public service announcement from NTA.
This is the network service of the NTA.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Prince, did you hear that?
Of course I did. That is village headmaster tune.
Eh? So Auntie Amebo was not gossiping then?
Village headmaster is celebrating 50 years.
50? Already? This is not a joke. Oh.
It is a national celebration. NTA and Village headmaster family are commemorating 50 years.
Hey, Prince, tell me, when is our golden jubilee?
It is from the 8th to 11th of October, 2019.
I have to go and get ready. It's time to party.
Women. But we, men, will be there too.
Can I see your particulars, sir?
Officer, my particulars no dey here.
In that case, you'll have to come with me to the police station.
Officer, which levels? Where I for find you something make you take arrange your weekend.
What? Offense number 1, driving without particulars. Offense number 2, trying to bribe an officer of the law.
I won't harass Nigerians or take bribe. Change begins with me.
This message is brought to you by the National Orientation Agency in conjunction with the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
Digital studio equipment is a critical aspect of modern television that requires special skills for their operation and maintenance. These skills define the content and output of television and are acquired only through professional training and experience. NTA TV College JOS is organizing a special 4-week intensive course on digital studio equipment maintenance for engineers and technical officers in public and private television stations. The course will equip participants with modern techniques, technologies, and skills for effective and efficient operation and maintenance of digital studio equipment. Also, a special 4-week course on intermediate photojournalism and photography will run simultaneously. It is an essential course for photojournalists, photographers, public relations, and information officers to upscale their skills and capacities in photojournalism. Participants will be equipped with modern skills in photo editing, studio, and outdoor lighting, and more in just a few weeks. The venue for both courses is the serene and secure environment of NTA TV College near Old Government House, Rayfield, JOS. Date 16 September to 11th October 2019. Course fee 100,000 naira only per participant. Accommodation inclusive. For more inquiries, please call 0803-314-4383 or 0806-980-9807. NTA TV College JOS, training you to be the best you want to be.
It is a fact that a healthy nation is a wealthy nation. Hence, the health of the citizens must be given premium by the people in authority. Since health is wealth, the workforce of a healthy nation will work optimally, resulting in high productivity, thereby sustaining the economy with abundant infrastructural facilities to meet the needs of the people. Since the evolution of the present administration in 2015, the federal government, led by President Muhammadu Buhari, gives priority to the health sector. The noble step in the right direction has continued to yield positive results. One of such is the fact that in the last 3 years, Nigeria has not recorded a single polio case. How has the federal government, in conjunction with the 30 states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory achieve this feat. This will be our focus on this edition of the program as we host the Executive Director, National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, Dr. Faiza Shaib. My name is Kemi Fakeye. Dr. Faiza Shaib, you are welcome to Stepping Up this week.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, let's start by talking about the success story about eradication of poliomyelitis in Nigeria. Tell us about the feat, how the country gets to this stage.
Right, so we've gone 3 consecutive years without a single case of white polio virus paralyzing any child in Nigeria. That's an amazing feat, given that as recently as 7 years ago, Nigeria was responsible for more than 50% of kids that were paralyzed from poliomyelitis globally. So while we're excited about this piece of work, we're also conscious of the fact that it just heralds another phase in the journey towards certification as polio-free. Now that we've gone 3 consecutive years without this white polio virus, then the Regional Commission of the World Health Organization will now start the process of documenting all the steps that we've taken to get us here and all the steps that we continue to take that ensures that we actually do not have any kids coming down with white polio virus. So it is really an amazing feat, an important feat that all Nigerians should be proud of, but it also means that there's more work to be done because we have to sustain the surveillance, we have to sustain routine immunization, we have to sustain the quality of the campaigns to ensure that when we say we're white polio virus free, we're actually white polio virus free.
How did you get the record, you know, because we're still having it that some states or some communities are still rejecting vaccination, and do you get to the grassroots in your campaign?
Yes, absolutely. We go not only from community to community, but from door to door, ensuring that every eligible child gets the vaccine. Of course, there are communities where information is not very clear, and they continue to say, we do not want the vaccines. But that is only at the beginning. More often than not, when we, as always, involve traditional leaders, religious leaders in the same communities, then they're able to understand that these vaccines are very safe and they are for the good of the children. So in those communities where we have initial resistance, we've been able to, over time, overcome the resistance once residents are clear that this program by the government is to provide vaccines to the kids, vaccines that will prevent vaccine-preventable diseases. So in the early 2000s, we had huge problems, not just communities, but whole swaths of states that even rejected the vaccine. But over time, we've been able to engage with the states, with the political office leaders, but also we're able to put the polio program, the immunization program, frankly speaking, in the hands of the traditional and religious leaders. And what we've seen is that they've owned it, and they've been able to go back to their communities and assure community members that these vaccines are safe, that it is just rumors about the lack of safety of the vaccines, and it is not born out of any hard evidence. So it's been a very long journey, and there have been so many people, especially the vaccinators, should be very proud of the work that they've done. Over the years, a lot of people have been involved in this progress that we've achieved. This did not just start yesterday or in the last 3 years. It comes from several years, over 20 years of different leaders, different people at the operational level, making sure that in the end, the oral polio vaccine gets into the mouth of the child. And it's a very complicated, very complex operation. But in the end, we've been able to do it systematically, consistently, to such an extent that we are 3 years without a single polio virus. We've also been in the forefront of using innovative technology to get to kids, right? So we're using the GIS, right, to be able to say where exactly the communities are. We've been able to map out where each community is, so that, unlike in the past, at the beginning of the program, where campaigns will be conducted and some communities will be left out, now every single community is mapped, every single community is reached consistently over time with the oral polio vaccine, all geared towards making sure no child is left behind.
Okay, well, now, in the past, they will say, okay, maybe from certain age to certain age. Is it routinely now? Is it like all year round?
Yes, so for the campaigns against polio, over time, we've focused more on the kids that are most vulnerable, kids under 5 years of age, right? So we've never changed that age categorization. The guideline has remained consistent, that we continue to look for kids that are under 5 years of age, and we give them the oral polio vaccines, irrespective of where they live. However, for the routine immunization program, as you are aware, is a little bit different from the campaigns, right? The campaigns are those supplemental immunization activities that requires our vaccinators to go from doorstep to doorstep, asking for eligible kids and then vaccinating them appropriately. With the routine immunization, this is something that has been time honored, right? Where our parents, our guardians, caretakers take eligible kids under 1 year of age to the nearest health facility and ensures over time they follow a schedule where the kids are given the vaccines based on their age, right? That continues, that has not changed. What we have done instead is to continue to add to that routine immunization schedule newer vaccines that prevent diseases, right? So, for example, in recent times, we've introduced the pneumococcal vaccine, which helps prevent our kids from coming down with pneumonia or dying from pneumonia.
Okay. Towards the sustenance of this campaign, what is the collaboration with state and local government and even donor agencies like with your agency?
Right, so we couldn't have, as an agency or the Federal Ministry of Health on its own, been successful without very tight leadership, very strong collaboration with our development partners and our donors, right? So this is really a partnership. All of what we've achieved has been possible because of the collaboration between the federal government and our donors and development partners. So we're talking about Rotary International, the World Health Organization, UNICEF, US CDC, USAID. You know, the collaboration is so long that I cannot list every agency here, but suffice it to say that, you know, very core development partners, donors such as the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation have been with us in the trenches even as we get to this stage. As we work together at national level with these development partners, we've also worked closely with the states and LGAs, knowing very well that the people that we serve live in the local government areas and are governed by the states. So in our collaboration, it's always been a question of sitting down to understand the contexts of each local government, each state, and tailoring our interventions along the lines of what the state and the local government say is the best approach, right? Okay. And since we're working with traditional leaders, we always have to be mindful of the fact that what is okay in one context, in one village, might not be okay in another. So we have to listen to the people at the grassroots, understand what is it, what are those things that really motivates them to come out for vaccination, and what are those things that they probably do not find comfortable.
Okay, and what's the next level now?
Yes, the next level now is that there's a National Certification Commission, right? The NCC, that has been trained. So it's a commission of public health experts in Nigeria who are already going around the states and local governments collecting data around how sensitive our surveillance is. So the most important indication of whether or not we have done a good enough job of stopping white polio viruses is to find out if there are still kids under 15 years of age that are coming down with paralysis, and whether this paralysis could be due to infection with the white polio virus, right? So we've been doing a lot in terms of improving the surveillance system. But for the African region of the World Health Organization to actually say that we are white polio virus free, to certify the whole of the African continent, because it's not states or countries that are certified polio free, but a whole region, such as the African region. For that to happen, there has to be no doubt, there has to be no iota of doubt about the fact that there is no child within the Nigerian entity that is being paralyzed anywhere by the white polio virus. So it takes a very comprehensive look, systematic look at all the information we're gathering, taking samples from the environment, taking random samples from kids, looking for any evidence that the white polio virus exists. They also will be looking at how well we're doing when it comes to ensuring that mothers, fathers, guardians take kids to the health facility for routine immunization, vaccination. There's a certain level that we must reach for them to be pretty confident that because we have been able to protect our kids to this level, there is no way the white polio virus will survive in Nigeria, so that it becomes a very hostile environment for white polio virus. That's what we're trying to do. I will try to do this not only with the white polio virus, but all vaccine preventable diseases, so that Nigeria, the environment, and our kids are forever free of vaccines that will cause illness and cause death among our kids.
Okay, what are the modalities being put in place to ensure that this campaign continue even after the certification? Because we know that in some developing countries, when they record a fit, they will go to bed and the problem will resurface, in order to prevent this kind of a scenario in the country.
You're completely spot on, right? So this is why for us, even though we've reached the 3-year mark without the white polio virus isolated, we're not ruling out the drums. We're cautiously excited, knowing very well that there's still a whole lot that needs to be done in terms of sustaining all the efforts that will ensure that we do not have any outbreak of white polio viruses. And then how do we aggregate all of the lessons that we've learned from this white polio virus eradication? How do we use all of the lessons we've learned around engaging with traditional leaders, religious leaders, social mobilization, communication, clearly engaging people? How do we use the laboratories that we've built, we've established? How do we translate all of the knowledge that we've acquired in the last few decades around polio eradication? How do we now move them to the next level, like you've said? So we're already doing that. So we've learned lessons from the white polio virus eradication program, and now we're strengthening our routine immunization program. We have a center that we call the National Emergency Routine Immunization Coordinating Center that is using exactly the same model, the same types of interventions around social mobilization, engaging with communities, traditional leaders to improve routine immunization. But apart from that, we're also beginning to look squarely in the direction of the high maternal and child deaths in Nigeria. Nigeria continues to have one of the highest levels of maternal and child death. That is not acceptable. And this is why we're using all of the lessons that we've learned to begin to tease apart, unpack the reasons why our women die when they are pregnant, unpack the reasons why kids under 5 die before their 5th birthday. And we're going to use similar interventions to make sure that within the shortest possible time, Nigeria attains the glory among nations that when a woman is pregnant, she is not likely to die due to perfectly preventable diseases